This week I'm in the new Nissan X-Trail STL. It's a medium SUV that competes against Australia's darling, the Toyota RAV4, and the sporty Mazda CX-5. Both heavy hitters in their own right, but this has a rather rare feature for this class. Yep, it's a 7-seater, and it's something that sets it immediately apart from its rivals. But is it the winning feature? Stay watching to find out. Let's talk price. The STL 7-seat will cost you around $46,000 before on-road costs, and that does place it as the more expensive option compared to the rivals. However, despite this being just one model up from the entry grade, you wouldn't know it from the spec sheet. This is well specified for where it sits in the model range, especially with the synthetic leather trims, the heated front seats, electric driver's seat, wide Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as those 2 additional seats in the back. The full specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you want more info. The cabin looks really nice up front. There's a pleasing mix of materials, although I'm not a massive fan of the 2 tones on the dash. The brown and the black clash for me personally. However, everything else looks quite nice and there's loads of room, which is great. The storage options up front are fantastic. Got a deep middle console, deep storage pockets in the doors, plus a cute little shelf underneath the center console. I also really like the charging options. You get a USB-C and A port and a 12-volt port too. It was easy enough to connect to the wide Apple CarPlay, and the 8-inch touchscreen multimedia system was responsive and easy to use. However, the digital radio system cuts in and out every few seconds, which makes it fairly useless. The space in the back seat feels good. There's plenty of head and leg room. Taller passengers will be very comfortable back here. However, the back seats aren't as well padded as the front, and it does lack a lot of under-thigh support, which is a shame. The amenities aren't too bad either, with directional air vents, USB-C and A port. It was also a really easy car for my son to get in and out of this week, and he loved the taller seating position. I like the easy to clean backs of the seats, quite practical, and the storage options are pretty good with map pockets, deep storage pockets in each door, plus 2 cup holders. I would have preferred though if the armrest was its own entity rather than having to fold down and expose the boot. The back seat does have a 40-20-40 split fold, which opens up storage options though. There are ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats, plus 3 top tethers. You might get lucky and fit 3 skinny child seats side by side, but 2 will fit best. There's also plenty of room when a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat is installed too, and I had no issue fitting my monster harness booster seat this week. The 3rd row is tiny, and I would be considering this as sometime seats for kids. Adults will not be comfortable back here on any length of the trip. Now, there's also pretty much no amenities back here either, besides a couple of cup holders. The X-Trail's boot is relatively small compared to a lot of its rivals at 465 litres. I do really like the level load space and that you've got a retractable cargo blind, but after a big grocery shop this week, this was completely full. This also has a temporary spare tyre. However, because of the position of the 3rd row, it might be a little bit annoying to try and actually get out and use. Also, this week I did miss having a powered tailgate because the boot lid is quite heavy to close. Excluding the e-Power hybrid models, the X-Trail shares the same 2.5 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine. It has a maximum output of 135 kilowatts and 244 newton meters of torque, meaning it's not super powerful, but it's also not going to whine at you either. The continuously variable transmission was a little bit jerky at times when you had to get up to speed, but otherwise smooth. And curiously, for this class, it does have a part-time 4x4 function. I didn't test its capabilities, but that's pretty cool nonetheless. This delivered a solid performance for all the situations I put it through. I was just as happy on the open road as I was in stop-start traffic in the city. There's enough power to get you up to speed and keep you there, but the engine can sook a little bit when you're a bit too aggressive with the accelerator. The ride comfort is really good. I had my dad on a little mini road trip this week and he had high praises as a passenger. And as a driver, I really felt the suspension was well cushioned, but it didn't make it feel floaty on the road. The cabin space is pretty quiet even at higher speeds, but I didn't rate the sound system at all. I think this could be done better. This is a large car, but it doesn't feel like a large car when you go to park it. It's actually stupidly easy to park. The official combined fuel cycle is 7.8 litres per 100 kilometres, and real world testing saw my figure at 8.1 litres, which I actually thought was really good considering the size of the SUV and the fact that I did open road driving and urban this week. This has a 55 litre fuel tank, and based off the official combined cycle, you should see a driving range of around 705 kilometres. That's perfectly respectable for the odd family vacation or road trip. The Nissan X-Trail has a lot of active safety features, and I really enjoyed using the adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist, because as long as you have your hands on the wheel, the car will basically steer itself, which is really great at minimizing fatigue on a longer journey. This was awarded a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating in 2021, but the testing is based off its stablemate, the CarsGuide. Something worth noting is that ANCAP's individual assessment scores were all quite high for this car, which is always nice to see on a family vehicle. The X-Trail has 7 airbags, and that includes a front center airbag and curtain airbags that cover all 3 rows. The full safety specs are in my written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more details. The X-Trail comes with the standard 5-year and unlimited kilometre warranty term. You can also pre-purchase either a 3, 4 or 5-year cap price servicing plan. On the 5-year plan, services average $425, which is great for this class. Servicing intervals though are every 12 months or 10,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. That could get a little bit annoying if you do put a lot of Ks on your car every year. The Nissan X-Trail STL has been a really interesting car this week. It drives well, has some good features, and fit my family of 3 just fine. The on-road handling was really good, and there's enough power under the bonnet for the odd road trip. I'm not sure that it's worth losing the boot space to fit the extra 2 seats in, but if you do have to ferry more kids to a game or something, that could be worthwhile. There are a few little things that could have been done a bit better, but otherwise my family enjoyed being in this one, and it gets a 7.5 out of 10 from us. If you're after more details, check out the full review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.